Hey guys, Jen here. I'm the founder of Sleep Love Grow, and we're now going to talk about rhythm over routine. So, as a sleep consultant and mum to six, what I have figured out over the many years is that um, routine is not as important as the rhythms that you create in your house and with your baby. So, every house is going to be different. I don't want you to feel like there's kind of one right way to do this, all right? A mama who is delivering something in love and who is well bonded to their baby is someone who we want much more than a mum who knows the sleep schedules and knows to the nth degree, what age a baby needs to go down to sleep for. Because I can tell you now, across the years, my children have taught me many different things about being flexible, right? So, whilst a routine or a schedule can be super handy for some mums, other mums aren't into it, and that's totally fine. But I want you to just think about the rhythms in your house, that you're thinking what works best for your family, what works best for your child, and what's actually going to be sustainable for you. And the reason why focusing on a routine or a schedule only it doesn't work, why a routine fails, is because we're missing that human component, right? We're not kind of thinking about what's the baby feeding back to me right now. I'm putting them down at a time that I think a baby at their age should need to go down for, but they're not sleeping. What are they saying to me? Are they saying they need a bit more time? Are they saying next time put me down a little bit sooner? Are they saying something else to you? So I want you to think about rhythms being so much more useful, for your family and for your baby. What we do when we focus on routine and schedule only is that, we miss times where the baby's telling us, okay, mum, 2 weeks ago I needed to go down at this time, but actually I need a bit more playtime today. A baby's, kind of schedule or routine, if you like, what time they go to sleep from any day to day won't be super different. But as they get older and their needs change, we need to be able to pick that feedback and think about what they're telling us so that we can kind of move with the times. You know what I mean? And what we want to create instead of routine or schedule is, a predictable flow for the day. So what do we do? When your baby first gets out of bed for the day, what's our normal thing that we do at that time of the day? We're certainly using the clock as a helper, but babies are our primary reason why we might be doing something, and the clock can totally be secondary. So I want you to think about rhythm rather than that routine stuff. I want you to think about your baby's cues and signals because they're important. What's my baby telling me for today? Are they telling me because, they all of a sudden dropped a feed last night, which meant they had half an hour extra of sleep time, that, they're ready to kind of bust up to something a little bit more challenging and they're ready for that little bit more wake time. That's an important thing to think about. The other thing I want you to think about is, what rhythm works for you. So a lot of sleep resources talk about feed, play, sleep. And whilst I can say that that's been useful for myself and lots of people I worked with, I can tell you that some families that doesn't work with very well. They've got a baby who is a happy cat napper, is what I'll call them. They do short naps. They're happy. And, if mum fed them every single time they woke up, they'd probably be having, 25 feeds in a day. So, and then you've got families where feeding to sleep is a normal and that's what they want to do and that's what works and that's totally fine and beautiful for your family. So the feed, play, sleep stuff is really more about, do I want my baby to associate sleep with feeding? If it's a yes, it really doesn't matter what order you kind of do things in because you'll be feeding at the end of that wake window as well. But if you don't want your baby to associate sleep with feeding, then you could feed earlier in that wake window and then support them to go to sleep in other ways, depending on what works for your family. Rhythm, I want you to think about, really reduces overtiredness, because we're looking at our baby as an individual and not as a schedule list, you know, at a particular age and stage. And so I find that focusing on rhythm really cuts down on that overtiredness, because we're trying to keep with our baby's rhythm and what is working for them. So I want you to think about gentle patterns in your house. Take away the strict rules. You know, they don't do well with our headspaces, mamas, most of the time, although some mums do love it. And take days to rest and to breathe and to think about what's going to help for you that day. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'd love you to join me for the next video, the final video of the mini-series. Okay, if you've got any questions or need any help or support, get in touch. Thanks, guys. See you.